To me, Stewardship Sunday is the most important Sunday of the year. You may argue, well, Christmas and Easter, aren't they way more important? Well, it depends. And I tell you why. Easter and Christmas are, to me, at the core, at the heart of our faith. They make me feel great. They feel like, wow. But when it comes to Stewardship Sunday, to me it is taking Jesus seriously and being in it for God, supporting God's work for the right reasons. So you can say, I believe in God all year long. You can live it on Easter, on Christmas. It can be all on your lips. But is it in your heart? And how does it show? How does it show that you take Jesus seriously? How do you support God's work? And that's where, for me, Stewardship Sunday is key, because it's not so much about talk, but it's about the heart and our actions. It's the invitation to lean in and say, yes, I embrace God's future with hope for us as a community of faith. Last Tuesday, we gathered with stewardship finance people, with our council, the leadership, and they helped get all the stewardship letters in the mail. And on the left top, they put a sticky note and put a personal note. And someone asked, what shall I write on it? And another person said, put your money where your mouth is. Yeah. Well, you can't say it like that, can you? You don't want to hurt people's feelings, but when it comes down to really, how do we love God? How do we support God? How do we show that we follow Jesus and take that seriously? Now, usually, there are 4 things you don't talk with friends about or acquaintances, no matter where you are. You don't talk about religion. We have one off here. We can talk religion. But you don't talk about money, sex, or politics, because they're like these bombs, like these mines. They can blow up in your face. You can hurt feelings, so you tread very lightly. Don't touch the subject. But if we want to be faithful to Jesus and to our scriptures, we gotta talk money, because money is one of the most important topics that Jesus talked about. Besides love, caring, helping, it was open on and on and on a topic for his teaching. Now, what is money? Money is, at its core, influence, means, power, energy. It's substance. You say money speaks. Money doesn't have a positive or a negative value. It's just means. You have the opportunity with money to accomplish things. You can buy things, necessary things for yourself, pay the mortgage, pay rent, pay whatever. So money doesn't have the value of positive or negative to it. It just is what it is. It's means, ability, potential to do things. What makes a difference, big difference, is then how do we use money, and how do our use of funds, what does that say about us? And this is where the difference comes in. Like, I can burn $1,000 in the casino, yes, or I can give $1,000 to Haven Ministries homeless shelter. Same money, doesn't make a difference. It's neutral. Money is neutral, but what I do with money, with means, speaks or says a lot about who I am and what I value. And this is my invitation for you. Go home at some point, take an honest look, take your bank statement, take your credit card statement, and go through line by line. Where does your money go? I'm convinced that 90% of all of us do not know where every single dollar of our money goes. Do you know every dollar where it goes? I do not know. Tell you, I tried this with food sometimes. Write down everything I eat. I had no idea what I eat in the evening, snack time, when I'm tired, when the TV is on. Woo, it was like, really? Yes. I think it's the same when we look at every dime, every dollar, where it goes. And I think it's an important point, an important practice for all of us to look. Where and how do we give money? How do we spend money? What do we invest money into? And when we do that, the second step is then, for my invitation and my challenge for you is say, what part of all your bills, credit card statement, all the line items, what part goes toward God's work? And God's work is not just St. Paul's. God works in various ways through organizations, the Red Cross, the homeless shelter, through educational organizations, through the REC, through transitions, through hurricane relief, the Red Cross. So you can add, God's work happens through many, many organizations and nonprofits, and through St. Paul's. So my invitation for you is take an honest look, go home and see where in your list of priorities does God's work come? What percentage, what part of your means, your income, your ability goes toward God's work? Because that's what we are about, isn't it? It doesn't just happen. Jesus' work right here and right now among us in our community doesn't just happen. We are the hands, the heart of Jesus. We do that work. We're invited to do it. And to me, the best way to look and take an honest look is to actually look in the mirror and take a look. Where does it come in your list of priority? God's work. Do you take Jesus seriously in that? Now, what is one of the greatest obstacles, one of the greatest hindrances to becoming more generous? What do you think it is? To me, there are two things. One is fear. I'm afraid there will be not enough. I'm afraid I'll run out. I'm afraid that I gotta shift or change things, or it's almost like it is what it is. Don't touch a running system. I'm afraid that there won't be enough. The second thing is fear of it will hurt. It will hurt if I give more. Well, guess what? It does not hurt. I'm living proof. It feels great. It really feels great. Ask people in your family, among your friends who are generous, giving generously. Ask them, does it hurt? It does not hurt. It really does not. But we often think like it does. We think like, Mother Teresa said, the heart does the giving. The hands only let go. It's kind of the heart. When the heart is in it, it is joy, it's fulfilling. It's the best thing Sigrid and I do to give to St. Paul's substantially, to be significant givers, to support, to take it seriously. This is the best Sunday, the most important Sunday for me of the year, because it's the substance. Do I really mean it? Do we really mean it? Or now, the fear of not enough, the fear of running out, or the worrying, I tell you what, that fear will never go away. Every person, every counselor, no matter what, you go to them, they say, you'll come out fearless, without worries, without fear of fear. Charlatan. Just taking, it's not gonna work. You may replace one concern with another, you may trade them back and forth, but there will always be some fear, some worry. The only way how I experience how you can deal with that fear and that worry is if you're courageous and bold and do it anyway. You do, it's courage, it's called faith. You do it anyway. You're afraid. You do it anyway. You confront the fear. You don't let it take over your life. And that's the invitation for me today, for you. When you become a more giving people, my promise to you is, and you prove me otherwise, is it will feel great and it won't hurt you. And you will not run out. Prove me wrong on this. I want you to come back to me next week, the week afterwards, during the week, call me. When you make a gift above and beyond, call me and say, it really hurt. I really regret it. It does not feel good. It's just awful. I'll give you all the money back. I ask you to take Jesus' invitation seriously, to become a giving person, a more giving person, to challenge yourself, just as that letter, that invitation that you got in the mail. Challenge yourself. To the point of, some people say, my role as pastor is make you feel comfortable, lull you in, make you fall asleep, and you go out, it was wonderful. No, I'm missing the point. I'm missing the point. Talking with Jim Taylor, wonderful coach, I asked him, Jim, what makes a great coach? And Jim said, sometimes you gotta yell. Sometimes you gotta wake them up. Sometimes you gotta step on their toes. But you gotta do it. Believe in them. Push them. Challenge them to reach their potential. Tell you what, I would be so grateful if you at some point have a sleepless night here and there to wrestle about how much shall I give? Because, not because I ask you, because Jesus asks you. Jesus and Peter had betrayed him and so on. After the resurrection, Jesus comes and asks Peter, do you love me? And Peter is I love you. Jesus asks him again, do you love me? And in the background is, how will it show? Peter says, I love you. You know it, I love you. And Jesus asks him again. So what about Jesus asking you, do you love me? And how does it show? I promise it's the last. This is our logo, embracing the future with hope. It's a sun. It's just like the sun that was on that chair where George Washington sat. He sat in that chair in Independence Hall when they were deliberating, what are we gonna do? Tricky, challenging situations ahead. And on that chair, you can look it up at the top of the chair, right behind his head, is a sun showing halfway. And Benjamin Franklin, yes, the one, used to say, I wasn't quite sure if that sun was a rising sun or whether it was a setting sun. A future with hope. Is it a rising sun or is it a setting sun? It's in your hands.